Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to speak real quickly because I have things to do about my opinion on this whole case, Gabby and Bryan. First of all, I want to start out with I can't even fathom what Gabby's family are going through. And it's just so frustrating to me that the public and the viewers and the ridiculous stuff that's going on is masking this girl's life was taken so young with so much potential over nonsense. So I'm just gonna cut to the chase right to it. These conspiracy theories are gonna go on from now until ever. I've seen it time and time again, and it seems to be getting so much worse in the social media eye. You know what? You people criticize the media and then you side with the media. So which one is it? Because it's this case is cut and dry, but nobody thinks simplicity. Here's what went on. The FBI and the police dropped the ball. His car was parked right there. Now, the Bryan's family led them right there. But what the FBI and the police did, and what I mean about dropping the ball, is that they allowed social media, Twitter, YouTube, all of it, TikTok, Facebook, all these true crimers and people that got involved into their head, including Dog, the bounty hunter, and they didn't really start at the area because they didn't believe the lawyer or the family. But I don't know what was not to believe. His car was found there. So obviously you start there. Period. You start there. Now, I haven't done much research on the days and the exact dates and the 3 days between as far as what the weather was like, but I'm going to dive more deep into weather patterns that went on in those 3 days that he was there. Now, I mean, it's just so obvious and people can't understand. Dental records are very simple when you're dealing with somebody young. Why I say they're very simple? Because they're not missing teeth. They have everything. They usually have, you know, they probably had that already and prepared in case, they needed it. I already had a mold of his, whatever, picture of his thing, scan, however they do it in the scientist world. And if a gun is missing, I don't know if a gun was used. That was the cause of death. But being that it was partial skull and how short he was there, partial skull means 90% of the time he took his life via gunshot. Now I don't know, can't confirm a gun was there, but a gun was missing out of the house. So I'm willing to bet, rather than believe, that somebody planted their kid's bones when they went there empty-handed with the police and met them there and was right alongside them, planted some baby teeth, or it's sick. Oh my God Almighty! Like, Now everybody wants to know why the coroner was back there. Because, listen, what they found was probably a Mandela. What a Mandela is either top or bottom teeth, or I think the Mandela is the top, and there's another name for the bottom. And they took it right away, and they had a positive. That's it. Now, why the medical examiner is back is because they're gonna take, a sifter and find everything they can that was in that area. They wanted to just make sure that what they had was Bryan, which we already knew was him based on the stuff that they found there. But you can't assume, right? So they took what they had and they made the determination. There is nothing fishy about it. The FBI dropped the ball, and their egos don't want us to know that because they listened to the public and assumed Bryan was on the run. So rather than start at the beginning of the reserve where the boy's car was and work your way in, no, they thought he was on the run, so they started at the middle. They didn't go back, obviously, right? They went forward, thinking he was hiding and he was this mastermind, because that's all we ever heard. And it's that simple. They did not search that area well enough. Now, as far as cadaver dogs, I'm not going to argue with people because my cousin's a canine, and I spoke to him. A canine cadaver dog works on odor, smell. Which, if you're in a creek or a marshy area, can heavily mask that. But it's not just you can't just rely on the dog itself. We've seen it time and time again. Look at the Watts case. You see that lady walking. I'm going to give you one example. You see that woman walking that dog, right? In the streets in the neighborhood. Where does that dog go ballistic? A block away, where the dumpster was, where Chris Watts stopped for 4 minutes before he returned home. Now, why do you think Christopher Watts stopped at that construction site on his way home? What do you think he dumped in that dumpster? I don't know. Maybe he dumped the baby blanket, his clothes, his boots, whatever. Because if he would have pulled up to the house with it, he would have been busted. That dog went ballistic where those were. And she was too busy talking to her daughter on the phone to even bother to go over and cross that street. So it's not just the dog that drops the ball here, which he did it. It's also the officer. What only human would make mistakes, so I can only assume dogs are not perfect, especially if a body's 4 feet underwater in murky mud. He may have very well smelled that area, and you know what? Maybe the cop didn't pay attention, or maybe there was 4 feet of water, so what was the cop going to do? Obviously, they didn't send divers there, because a diver would have found his body. So, only leads me to believe they didn't dive in that area. There's nothing fishy about it. Everybody just wants it to be fishy, because that's it. That's it. There's nothing fishy. And another thing is, this family was cooperative with the FBI and the authorities all the way through. Now, I think it's unjust that these protesters were allowed there. Regardless of what we feel about the family, you are innocent until proven guilty in this world. And if this was your child, what they had to endure is ridiculous. And and the only reason why I say that is because the FBI stood silent and didn't bother once come out and make a statement that the Bryan laundries family and the lawyer was being very cooperative with them. Now, another thing people seem to think and get wrong, we don't know, we may never know, what Bryan told his parents and why they didn't answer the Gabbies. I mean, I would like to believe he came home and said, "We broke up. Gabby left me out in the dust for somebody else with the van, so I drove home. I had no money. I didn't expect her to leave me. I had no choice but to use our credit card." I mean, it may have been her credit card, but they may have been sharing money. Is he a piece of shit? He's garbage. Absolutely. But in desperate times and you have no money to get home, you gotta do what you gotta do. Especially if you don't plan on telling your mother and father that you just murdered your girlfriend. He gets home and he says, "Yeah, Gabby left me up with the truck, whatever. I don't want to hear from nobody." He plays the little heartbroken little sonny boy because he's good at acting. We all seen that. And says to his parents, "Don't accept calls from her or her mother or father. I don't want to know nothing from them. If they want a car, let them come and get it themselves. She broke my heart. I'm done." I would easily believe my son. I would have no reason not to. Then he starts showing signs of heartbroken. He's playing the role with his mother and father. He knows his time is coming up, and he's shitting himself. He probably knew what he was going to do next, which was kill himself. So he decided to take his parents on a camping trip, and actually he did care about his parents enough to say that was his last hurrah. They were unaware of it, and he said, I want to just get out of here for a little while." He could have possibly said, "They're coming to pick up the van. I don't want to be here when they come. We just go away for, a day or two." That's it. And then they returned. There's nothing complex about this. I'm not saying that my theory is right. I'm saying take it into consideration. And if they did know, I mean, shame on them. Shame on them for not telling or answering Gabby parents. Because I would have. But like every parent has, my own husband said, it's not up to me. Exactly what Molly's husband said. It's not up to me to have my son turn himself in. I don't know what I would do. I don't think I would let him be on the run, but I certainly wouldn't disencourage it and let the police do their work. But what I will tell you that we would do is, I'm not going to allow anybody to talk to my son without a lawyer present. So yeah, we're gonna use our right to remain silent and hire a lawyer before we go and speak to anybody, because everybody makes fun of how stupid Chris Watts was for not doing it, but now you down somebody else for doing it. I mean, which way do you people sway? Because it's ridiculous. The shit that's going around YouTube and social media is the most ridiculous shit I ever heard in my life. And I know we're about to hear so much more. But I just wanted to weigh in on it. Yeah, the lawyer did sound... But listen to the questions the media is asking him. Listen to his frustrations. Like, they've been cooperative the whole time. And the authorities provided no kind of protection or nothing for this family. That's not how the judicial system works. Bryan did what he did. His mother or father did it. And we have got to stop making the parents or the relatives of these animals that kill the the criminals. We got to stop treating them like the criminals. It's not fair. It's just really not. And this is, even Gabby's family agrees with me. And as far as the protesters, give me a break. Especially the biggest one of all, who actually flat out admitted that she was not down there for anything else other than to get herself known, to clout, and to build her YouTube channel. What does that say? She's a tragedy pimp. Plain and simple. She's an ambulance chaser. All she cares about is getting in the news, in the now. I mean, she danced. She danced and walked around as they were setting up for the FBI to come and give us a statement. I mean, come on. It's so ridiculous. And she's embarrassing. She's embarrassing. That's all I have to say about this. And, I'm just going to study the weather patterns and, more about that particular area of the park during those days. Chances are he went in and shortly killed himself within minutes of arrival or within a day. Sorry, that's my belief. I don't think it's any other way. But you know what? It doesn't matter. That could be factual, and you people still wouldn't believe it because you don't want to. Because it's a moneymaker, and it's a channel builder, and all these idiots will carry this on just like they did Chris Watts and Kanika Jenkins and everything else. It's money. It's all about money. And that's what's ruining social media. Because it used to be a place that reported the news and the facts and didn't make this a media spectacle, which is now what YouTube is. It's disgusting.